Chloe finished her shift at the front desk of the Gladeview Apartments. The hallway lights hummed softly as she walked the quiet corridor. She held a stack of mail in her hand and glanced at her watch. It was almost midnight. Most tenants were asleep, and the building felt empty. A cool breeze drifted through an open window at the end of the hall. Outside, city lights twinkled faintly against the dark sky. The mail slots were all stamped and sorted. Chloe pushed open the heavy door that led to the storage rooms. She planned to drop the last letters into each box before heading home. She carried a soft lamp in one hand. It cast a warm circle of light against the worn carpet. Behind the lamp, the storage door stood closed. She noticed a faint creak, as though someone had just moved inside. Chloe paused. She knew she had locked the door earlier. The lock click still felt fresh in her fingers. She frowned. The sound came again, gentle but clear. It echoed in the narrow space behind the door. Chloe set the mail on the floor. She took a deep breath and walked closer. Her heart thudded, not from fear, but from curiosity. She gently pressed her ear against the cool metal of the door. A soft murmur reached her ears. It sounded like a whisper in another language. Its tone was low and trembling. Chloe straightened. She shook her head, wondering if she imagined it. The sound came again, louder and clearer. It was a voice, unfamiliar and urgent. Chloe swallowed. She saw the lock on the other side of the door. It had not been tampered with. She held her lamp higher and knelt to examine the edges. There was no gap big enough for anyone to peek out. Someone inside must be causing the noise. In that moment, she felt two choices. She could turn away and leave the mail for morning, or she could find out who or what was behind the door. Her training as a receptionist never covered strange noises in locked rooms. Still, her kindness won over her fear. She stood and set the mail aside. With a steady hand, she reached for the key ring around her waist. The key turned in the lock with a soft click. The door swung open a few inches, creaking as it moved. Cold air rushed out. The corridor lamp flickered as the door cleared its path. Chloe's heart raced. She held the lamp close to her chest and stepped in slowly. The storage room was larger than it seemed from the outside. Wooden shelves lined the walls. Dusty boxes sat in neat rows. Most items looked old or unused for years. The light from Chloe's lamp danced over discarded furniture and cardboard cartons. She saw nothing but shadows and silence. She took another step, and then she saw movement at the far end. A tall figure stood by an old metal cabinet. It wore a long robe that shimmered with a pale purple glow. The fabric looked light as smoke. The figure froze when it noticed her. She gasped and stumbled back. Chloe raised her lamp higher, revealing the stranger's face. Large eyes glowed softly, thin lips parted in surprise. The figure's skin looked almost silver in the lamp's glow. Chloe stared, unsure if she should flee. "Who are you?" Chloe asked quietly, her voice trembling. The figure took a hesitant step forward. Its eyes were wide with shock. It spoke in a voice that sounded like wind through leaves. "I am Ilara," it said. "Please do not hurt me." Chloe's fear melted into confusion. She swallowed hard. "Hurt you? I would never hurt anyone in this building. Why are you here?" Ilara blinked. Tears welled in her eyes. She looked down at her robes, brushing imaginary dust from them. Her voice shook. "I escaped from my world. I need help." Chloe felt her heart fill with concern. She stepped forward slowly, forgetting the rules about strangers in storage rooms. She offered her hand. "I'm Chloe. You can trust me. Let's get you somewhere safe." Ilara looked at Chloe's hand for a long moment. Then she placed her own slender hand in Chloe's. The touch was cold and soft. Chloe helped her step out of the shadow. As they left the storage room, Chloe closed the door behind them. She clicked the lock twice, then turned back. "Come on," she said. "Let's go to my apartment. You can tell me more." Ilara nodded. Her eyes shone with gratitude and fear. Chloe guided her through the hallway, holding her lamp high. They reached Chloe's door near the stairwell. It was small but cozy inside. A couch and a few chairs lined the walls. Potted plants sat by the window. Books and trinkets filled a shelf. Elara entered slowly, looking around as if seeing a new world for the first time. Chloe offered her a seat. "Sit down. I'll get you water." While Chloe filled 2 glasses, Elara sank onto the couch. She folded her hands in her lap. Her robe pulled around her. Chloe returned with a tray. She set the glasses on a small table. "Drink this," she said gently. Elara took a careful sip. Her eyes closed in relief. Chloe sat across from her. "Why are you here? Where's your home?" Elara's shoulders shook. She looked up. "I am the Princess of Desha. My world was taken over by rebels. I escaped through a portal. It brought me here. I cannot go home until I reclaim my throne, but I cannot do that alone." Chloe held her breath, trying to understand. She thought of her quiet life in the city. She thought of danger, of heroes and books. She felt a strange pull in her chest, a desire to help. "Okay," Chloe said. "We'll figure this out together." Chloe woke early the next morning. Sunlight slipped through her kitchen window. She brewed coffee and set 2 mugs on the table. Across from her sat Elara, still in her pale purple robe. The princess looked out the window with wide eyes. She studied the human world in quiet awe. "Thank you for everything last night," Elara said softly. Chloe offered her a mug. "Drink this, it will help wake you up." Elara took a careful sip. She closed her eyes, savoring the warm flavor. She placed the cup on the table. "I have so many questions," Elara said. She looked at Chloe. "Can you tell me about your world?" Chloe nodded and sat down across from her. She took a sip of her own coffee. The bitter taste reminded her of long nights at work. "This city is called Oak Ridge. It is small but busy. Many people live here in apartments like mine. They work in offices, shops, and hospitals. At night, some come home late, like me." Elara listened, her silver eyes bright. She reached out and touched Chloe's hand. "Your life seems peaceful," Elara said. "My journey was not so calm. When I left Desha, I carried only hope." She paused and looked away. "My world changed overnight. The rebels took control of the palace. They claimed they fought for freedom, but they killed many innocent people. My family hid me as best they could. They found a portal that led here. They told me to escape." Chloe squeezed Elara's hand. She felt her heart ache for the princess. "I'm sorry," Chloe said. Elara shook her head. "It is not your fault. My people need help. I must return and fight for my throne. But I do not know how to blend in here. Humans will not trust me if they see my true form." She looked at Chloe with determination. "I need your help to learn." Chloe nodded. She set down her mug. She wanted to do more than listen. She wanted a plan. "We can start today," Chloe said. "First, we need new clothes. Your robes stand out." Elara's lips curved into a small smile. Relief shone in her eyes. "Yes. Clothes that look human. And tools. I need a communicator to contact my allies." Chloe stood and grabbed her keys from a hook by the door. Elara rose too, her robe brushing the floor. Together, they stepped into the hallway and made their way downstairs. Outside, the air was cool. Oak Ridge bustled with morning traffic. Cars honked. People hurried along sidewalks. Chloe led Elara to a small clothing shop on the corner of Maple and Fifth. The shop had a bright green awning and a display of simple dresses and suits in the window. Inside, the shop smelled of clean fabric and soap. Chloe greeted the clerk, Maria, a woman with curly hair and warm brown eyes. Maria remembered Chloe from her late-night visits. "Good morning, Chloe," Maria said. "Up early today?" "Yes, and I have someone with me," Chloe said. She turned to Elara. "Meet Maria. She will help us pick out clothes." Maria's eyes widened at Elara's pale purple sleeve. She blinked and smiled politely. "Nice to meet you. What can I help you with?" Chloe kept her voice casual. "I need a simple outfit for my friend here, something to blend in." She tapped Elara's shoulder. "You can try anything you like." Elara stepped forward. She examined the racks. She selected a light blue blouse and dark pants that looked comfortable. She held them against her body and smiled at Maria. "I like these colors," Elara said. Maria nodded. "Blue is calming. These will look good on you. She gathered the clothes and led Elara to a small fitting room. Chloe paid for the items and waited. Elara emerged wearing the blouse and pants. The fabric hung softly on her slender frame. She looked almost human. Only her silver skin and violet eyes marked her as different. You look lovely, Chloe said. Ela smiled. She felt more confident. Think. Now I need the communicator. Where can we find electronics? Chloe suggested a shop across the street. They bought a simple radio device that Chloe explained could send and receive short messages. Elara practiced a few commands, her tone soft but precise. Good, Chloe said. We need to test it. They walked to a nearby park. Children played on swings. Joggers passed by. Elara found a quiet bench. She opened the communicator and pressed a small button. For a moment, the device crackled. Elara's face lit up. That is my friend Liam, he answers. She raised the device. Liam, this is Elara. I am safe. I need your help. Chloe watched as Elara spoke in a quiet voice. She did not recognize the words. Elara paused. She nodded. Yes, I will meet you at the old warehouse on River Street at dusk. She clicked off the device and turned to Chloe. I have allies here who can help me reclaim Vesha. They will arrive tonight. Elara closed her eyes and breathed deeply. Thank you, Chloe. I couldn't do this without you. Chloe felt her chest swell. She realized she was part of something bigger than her own life. I'm honored to help, she said. As sunset approached, Chloe prepared a small bag with clothes and food. She and Elara met at the warehouse at dusk. Liam waited there, dressed in dark clothes. He wore a small emblem on his chest, a symbol of Vesha's royal guard. He nodded at Elara. Princess, he said. Ela bowed her head. Chloe watched from the shadows. She felt both fear and pride. Liam handed Elara a device that glowed faintly. This will open a portal. We can return to Vesha soon, but we must move quickly. The rebels have spies on Earth. He looked at Chloe, and your help will be remembered. Chloe, step forward. I'm ready to help too. She met Elara's eyes. Ela smiled. Thank you, Chloe. Let's go home. With that, Elara pressed the device. Blue light shone in the dark warehouse. A swirling portal appeared. Chloe felt a gust of wind. She took a deep breath. After you, she said. Elara nodded, stepped forward, and held out her hand. Chloe took it. Together they walked through the portal. The light closed behind them, leaving Chloe's world behind. They arrived in a ruined courtyard on Vesha. Rubble lay scattered. The sky glowed red with smoke. Elara took a shaky breath and looked around, her eyes filled with determination. This is only the beginning, she said. Chloe grasped her hand tighter. She looked up at the ruined palace in the distance. Her heart was steady. She would stand with Elara, no matter what came next. Chloe led Elara down the busy sidewalk of Oak Ridge. The sun shone bright, and people moved quickly. Elara walked carefully, her eyes scanning the crowd. She kept her head down, hiding her silver skin beneath a hood. Chloe felt proud of how well the princess blended in. For days, Chloe taught Elara simple customs. They practiced greetings and small talk in the lobby of the apartment building. Elara learned to smile and nod. She practiced pressing elevator buttons. She observed how humans carried bags and drank coffee in paper cups. In the mornings, Chloe helped Elara pick outfits that hid her robes. They shopped at thrift stores and corner shops. Elara tried on jeans, t-shirts, and sweaters. Chloe showed her how to fold clothes neatly and hang them in a closet. Elara found new joy in simple tasks. As they worked together, their friendship grew. Elara told Chloe stories of her home world. She described crystal towers and floating gardens. She spoke of her family's kindness and wisdom. Chloe shared memories of her childhood, of park picnics and summer fairs. They laughed softly and felt close. One evening, Chloe invited Elara to dinner with her friend Jordan. Jordan was a security guard at the building. He enjoyed cooking. He prepared pasta and salad in Chloe's small kitchen. Elara tasted the food and smiled. She bowed her head in thanks. During the meal, Jordan asked friendly questions. Elara answered with practiced phrases. She spoke of visiting Oak Ridge for a cultural exchange. Chloe looked at Alara and nodded. The princess's calm tone put Jordan at ease. After dinner, Jordan walked Alara back to the storage room. He checked the lock and nodded goodnight. Chloe watched them go and felt relief. She has made progress, she thought. Late that night, Chloe woke to a sound outside her door. She opened her eyes and listened. Her heart pounded. She wore only pajamas. She crept to the door and peeked out. The hallway was dark. She saw two figures moving slowly. Their uniforms glowed faintly in the dim light. They carried devices that scanned the walls. Chloe recognized the emblem on their sleeves, the Theshan guards. Her pulse quickened. She ran to Alara's room and shook her awake. "They're here," she whispered. Elara sat up immediately. Her eyes were sharp. She dashed to her closet and grabbed her hooded jacket. Chloe helped her hide a small communicator. In her pocket. Outside, the guards paused at the stairwell. One spoke quietly into a device. Another ran a scanner over the door. Chloe held her breath in the dark apartment. Alara pressed against the wall. Seconds felt like hours. The guards clicked the lock. Chloe stifled a gasp. The door opened a crack. Chloe motioned Alara back. Alara slipped through the window onto the fire escape. Chloe followed. Cold air hit her face. She climbed down carefully, step by step. Alara was light and graceful. They reached the ground. The guards had not noticed them yet. Chloe led Alara to a narrow alley. They ran until the noise faded. "We cannot return home yet," Alara said softly. "They search every apartment?" Chloe nodded, her brow tight. She thought of the safe house they used before. It was too risky now. She scanned the street. There was a small cafe still open nearby. Its lights glowed warmly through large windows. Chloe grabbed Alara's hand and pulled her inside. Inside the cafe, they sat at a corner table. The barista, Sam, gave them curious looks. Chloe waved and said hello. Sam smiled and brought them tea. Chloe whispered, "We need a plan." She took a sip of tea. It warmed her from the inside. Ela studied her. "We must move quickly. They know my face now." Chloe thought of the shopping district. She remembered seeing a costume shop. Perhaps they could change Alara's appearance more. She reached into her pocket and showed Alara a crumpled map. "We go there tomorrow night," Chloe said. "We find masks and clothes. We change how you look," Alara nodded. She pressed her hands together in gratitude. "Thank you, Chloe." Chloe managed a small smile. She felt fear, but also determination. She would protect Alara at all costs. They left the cafe under the cover of night. Street lamps cast soft pools of light on the pavement. They moved quietly, like shadows. They reached the costume shop. The windows displayed masks and colorful robes. Chloe pulled open the door. A small bell rang overhead. Inside, mannequins wore bright dresses and odd decorations. The owner, a tall woman with silver hair named Nina, greeted them. "Can I help you?" Nina asked. Chloe explained they needed a disguise. Alara stepped forward and removed her hood. Nina's eyes widened, but she said nothing. She led them to a back room filled with masks and wigs. Alara tried on a dark wig and an ornate mask that covered half her face. The mask was black with silver lines. Chloe helped adjust the straps. When Alara looked at her reflection, she was almost unrecognizable. Chloe felt hope. "This will work," Nina said quietly. Chloe paid for the items. They thanked Nina and left. Outside, Alara held the mask in her hand. "I feel different," she whispered. Chloe placed the mask on Alara's face. The princess smiled behind it. It made Chloe grin too. "Tomorrow," Chloe said, "we fight back." They walked away into the night. Ready for the next step. Chloe woke before dawn. The first light of morning peeked through the window. She had slept on the couch at the safe house. Beside her, Alara lay on a cot, her breathing even. The night had been restless. Guards had nearly discovered them. Chloe looked at Alara's face. The princess still wore the mask from the costume shop. Its black surface covered her left eye and cheek. Chloe gently shook Alara awake. "It is time," she whispered. Ela opened her silver eye. She sat up and rubbed her neck. She felt tired but determined. Where are we going? She asked softly. Chloe pointed to a map on the small table. It showed the city's streets and underground passages marked in red. We head to the old subway tunnels, Chloe said. You said the portal device is hidden in a secret chamber beneath the palace. We need to reach it before the rebels find it. Ilara nodded. She swung her legs over the side of the cot and stood. The mask made her face feel strange, but it hid her identity well. Chloe packed a small bag with food, water, and the communicator. She added a flashlight and extra batteries. Ilara slipped on her mask and wrapped her hooded jacket over her clothes. I will lead the way, Chloe said. They left the safe house through a back door. Dawn light washed the empty street. The city was silent at this hour. Chloe led Ilara to a manhole near the park. She opened it quietly and climbed down the ladder. Ilara followed, her movements graceful. Inside, the tunnel smelled of damp earth and rust. Old pipes ran along the walls. Chloe found the subway tracks below. She walked along the tracks, stepping carefully between the rails. Ilara stayed close. Chloe checked the map often. She recognized a cracked tile on the wall marking a hidden door. She reached out and pressed a loose brick. With a soft click, a panel slid open, revealing a narrow passage. Ilara peered inside with curiosity. This must be the way, she said. They squeezed through the opening and slid into a dim corridor. The air was cooler here. Moss grew on the stones. Chloe clicked on her flashlight and shone the beam along the passage. At the end, she saw a heavy iron door with strange writing carved into it. This is it, Chloe whispered. Elar stepped forward and placed her hand on the door. She closed her eyes and whispered words in her own language. The carvings glowed faintly. The lock fell away with a soft thunk. Chloe pushed the door open. Beyond lay a circular chamber lit by a single torch on the wall. In the center stood a pedestal. On it rested a small, glowing orb with swirling light inside. The portal key, Ilara breathed. Chloe entered the chamber, her flashlight off to see the orb's glow. She noticed symbols on the pedestal. They matched the writing on the door. Ilara knelt before the pedestal and touched the orb delicately. The power is weak, Ilara said. The rebels drained energy from it. She frowned. Chloe stepped closer. Can we restore it? Ilara placed her hand over the orb. Her palm glowed with pale purple light. She closed her eyes and focused. After a moment, the orb's light brightened. It works, Ilara said. She smiled. Thank you. They heard a distant rumble. Debris fell in the tunnel. The rebels had discovered the hidden door. Chloe grabbed Ilara's arm. We must leave now. Ilara held the orb and followed Chloe out of the chamber. They closed the door behind them and reset the loose brick. They ran back along the tunnel. Rocks rained down from the ceiling. Chloe ducked under a beam. Ilara shielded her with her body. The hallway shook. Dust filled the air. Hurry! Ilara urged. They reached the subway tracks. Chloe led Ilara up the ladder toward the street. By the time they climbed out, the sky was bright with morning sun. Chloe and Ilara ran through back alleys. They heard distant alarms and shouting. The rebels were searching for them above ground now. Chloe found a hidden courtyard behind an abandoned warehouse. They paused to catch their breath. Ilara's mask was cracked from the debris. We cannot meet our allies here, Ilara said. We must find another way to the palace. She looked at Chloe. I know a trusted friend, Chloe said. Her name is Annie? She works at City Hall. She might help us reach the palace unnoticed. She pulled out the communicator. Call Annie, Chloe said. Elar turned on the device. She spoke quickly in her language. Chloe watched her friend with hope. She will meet us at the eastern gate, Ilara translated. In 1 hour, Chloe nodded. She led Ilara to a spot near a statue. They waited quietly. Pigeons cooed on the statue's head. The city moved in the distance. Elar looked tired. Her shoulders sagged. Chloe placed a hand on her back. Just a bit longer, she said. A black car pulled up near the gate. A woman stepped out wearing a dark coat. Chloe recognized her. Annie. Chloe called softly. Annie waved and hurried over. She looked from Chloe to Ilara and gasped. She recovered quickly. "Follow me," Annie said. They entered the gate. Annie guided them through a secret passage under the wall. It led to the palace grounds. The courtyard was quiet and empty. Ivy climbed the walls. "Be careful," Annie whispered. "The rebels guard the main gate." Chloe and Alara crept along the wall. They reached an archway leading to the garden. Moonlight streamed through openings above. Flowers bloomed even at night. "We must get inside the palace hall," Alara said. "That is where the rebels keep their leader." She looked at Chloe. "Lead the way," Chloe said. They slipped past guards who paced the hall. Alara used her mask and borrowed guard uniform from Annie's bag. She bowed to the soldiers in their strange tongue. They let her pass. Chloe's heart pounded. She followed. Closely, holding the glowing orb in her bag, they entered a grand hall with broken pillars and scorched tapestries. At the far end, a tall figure in dark armor stood on a dais. Behind him, a large throne lay shattered. Chloe recognized the rebel leader from Alara's descriptions. His helmet hid his face. He held a sword that pulsed with dark energy. "Alara," the leader said in a cold voice. "You finally return." He pointed his sword at them. Ela stepped forward. She raised the orb. Light swirled around it. "Your reign is over?" she said. The leader laughed. He swung his sword. A wave of dark power crashed toward Alara. She held up her hand, and the orb's light shielded her. The blast shattered a pillar. Chloe drew a small knife from her pocket. She ran to Alara's side. "Stay close," Alara said. The rebels' guards poured into the hall. Chloe and Alara fought side by side. Alara used her powers to deflect blasts, while Chloe moved with surprising skill. She ducked under a guard's baton and knocked it away. Alara pointed at the leader. "This ends now." She channeled energy into the orb. It glowed brighter than before. With a sharp cry, Alara swung the orb. Light burst forth, striking the leader's sword. The sword cracked and fell from his hand. The leader staggered. Alara stepped forward and placed the orb on the dais. "The portal key will save my world," she said. She pressed the orb against a carved symbol on the floor. Bright light enveloped the hall. Guards shielded their eyes. Chloe felt warmth fill her chest. When the light faded, the rebels were gone. The hall was empty. The portal stood open above the dais, swirling with blue light. Ela turned to Chloe and Annie. Her mask lay broken at her feet. "Thank you, Chloe," she said softly. "You saved my world." She smiled, her silver eyes shining with pride. Chloe felt relief and joy. She wiped sweat from her brow. "We did it together," she said. Ela stepped toward the portal. She held out her hand to Chloe. "Come with me," she said. Chloe hesitated. Then she nodded and took Alara's hand. They stepped into the portal. Light swirled around them. Chloe felt weightless. She squeezed Alara's hand. When they emerged, they stood in Chloe's apartment. The morning sun streamed through the window. Alara looked around and laughed softly. "We have much to rebuild," she said. Chloe smiled. She had found a new purpose. "Together," she said. And in that moment, they both knew their friendship would last beyond worlds. Chloe and Alara ran through the narrow alley until they reached the safe house. It was a small brick building hidden behind a row of empty warehouses. Ivy crept up the walls. Chloe knocked in a secret pattern. A small window slid open. "Chloe? Is that you?" a voice whispered. Chloe smiled. "It's me. And I bring company." Alara stepped forward. The window snapped shut. Chloe knocked again. The heavy door clicked and swung open. Inside, the air smelled of books and metal. Dr. Luke Harris stood in the dim light. He was tall and thin, with gray hair and kind eyes. "Welcome back," Dr. Harris said. "You must be Princess Alara. Come in quickly, we don't have much time." Chloe helped Alara inside and closed the door. Dr. Harris led them into a small lab. Machines whirred and glowed softly. Alara placed the damaged communicator on a steel table. "It will take a few minutes to repair," Dr. Harris said. He adjusted wires and circuits. Chloe paced nearby, her heart racing. Ela looked at Chloe. "Thank you for leading me here," she said softly. Without you, I would be lost. Chloe shook her head. We're in this together, Doctor. Harris tapped the communicator. It clicked on and a faint light blinked. It's working, he said. But the signal is weak. You need to be outside for a clear link. Ilara nodded. She held the communicator tightly. Doctor, Harris handed her a small toolkit. Take this just in case, he said. I'll support from here. Chloe and Ilara stepped outside into the night. The air was cool and still. They found a spot on the roof of the safe house. Ilara knelt and pressed the communicator's buttons. Friend Jorah, can you hear me? She said. The device crackled. A soft voice answered in Ilara's language. Princess Ilara. We hear you. We are in orbit above Earth with a small ship. We will land in 1 hour. The voice faded. Ilara's face lit up. They are coming. Chloe hugged her. That's good news. Ilara looked at the sky. Stars dotted the darkness. She sighed with relief. Soon I will have my royal guard back. I will reclaim my throne. Chloe nodded. We should prepare for their arrival. The rebels on Earth may try to stop them, Ilara agreed. She and Chloe gathered supplies from a shed next to the safe house. They loaded crates of food, water, and medical kits into a van Dr. Harris had parked nearby. Drive carefully, Dr. Harris warned as they climbed in. Chloe nodded and started the engine. Ilara held the communicator in her lap. They drove through the empty streets to the airfield at the edge of the city. The airfield was dark, but for a few floodlights. Chloe parked near a small hangar. They stepped out and walked toward it. Ilara's heart raced with hope and fear. Inside the hangar, a sleek ship rested on metal supports. Its hull was smooth and silver. Ilara's royal emblem glowed on the side. Her guard waited in formation. My princess! They called as Ilara approached. Ilara ran to them. She hugged her captain, a tall woman with braided hair. The royal guard's uniform shimmered in the hangar lights. It is good to see you, the captain said. Ilara turned to Chloe. This is Captain Kara. She fought beside me since childhood. Chloe, thank you for everything. Chloe smiled shyly. I'm glad to help. Captain Kara stepped forward. Princess, we have cleared most rebels in orbit. We need to secure Earth's surface before we return home. She looked at Chloe. Will you help us? Chloe's eyes widened. She nodded. Yes, I will stand with you. Ilara placed her hand on Chloe's shoulder. You have become my friend and my ally. Thank you. The hangar doors opened. Faint red lights shone on the tarmac. Rebel vehicles approached, their headlights cutting through the night. Chloe and the royal guard took positions behind the ship. Ilara held the communicator high and spoke into it. Ready, ship? Engage defense protocols. She turned to Chloe. We may have to fight here. Chloe took a deep breath. She gripped a stun baton Dr. Harris had provided. I'm ready, she said. The rebel vehicles screeched to a halt. Soldiers poured out with weapons drawn. A rebel commander shouted orders. They are here, he barked. Capture the princess. Ilara and Captain Kara held the line with the royal guard. Ilara's eyes glowed as she used her powers to create a protective barrier. The rebels fired and energy blasts bounced off. Chloe dashed. Forward, she swung the stun baton at a soldier charging her. It crackled and knocked him off his feet. She helped an injured guard to his feet. We must hold until their ship lands, Ilara called out. Above, a low hum grew louder. The ship's engines roared as it descended. Ilara watched anxiously. A rebel sniper fired at the ship. A blast struck the hull. Sparks flew. No, Chloe shouted. She fired at the sniper's position with an energy pistol. The sniper fell. The ship steadied. With a thunderous roar, the ship's ramp lowered. Royal Guard poured out, surrounding the rebels. Captain Kara charged forward. Ilara stood beside her. Chloe ran to Ilara's side. We end this now, Ilara said. The rebels hesitated, surrounded by reinforcements. The rebel commander raised his hands. We surrender, he said. Ilara nodded. She lowered her hands. The guards secured the commander. The rebels dropped their weapons. Chloe let out a breath she did not know she held. It's over, she said. Ilara turned to the sky. Tears of relief glimmered in her eyes. Thank you, my friends, she said softly. The royal guard formed a line. The commander knelt before Ilara. You are our princess, he said. Long live Queen. Ilara smiled and raised her hand in a small salute. Long live Thesha, she looked at Chloe. And long live our friendship. Chloe felt tears in her eyes. She hugged Ilara. Will you stay with me on Earth? Ilara asked. Chloe smiled. Wherever you go, I will follow. Ilara and Chloe stood on the rooftop of Oak Ridge's City Hall. Dawn light tinted the sky pink. Ilara's royal guard had secured a small landing zone nearby. The hidden ship rested on metal legs. Its hatch stood open, ready to deploy fighters. Chloe surveyed the quiet streets. The rebels had regrouped after their defeat at the airfield. They now threatened the heart of the city. Ilara's face was calm but determined. She held her communicator in one hand and a short blade in the other. They will come soon, Ilara said softly. We must be ready. Chloe nodded and checked her own weapon. Dr. Harris's stun baton glowed with stored energy. She touched the hilt, reminding herself of all they had faced together. I'm ready, she said. Below, rebel forces assembled in the plaza. They carried heavy weapons and shields. A rebel commander, the same man who had led the attack at the airfield, raised his fist and shouted orders. The soldiers cheered. Elara raised her hand. She spoke into the communicator. Launch the fighters. Protect the palace grounds. We hold the roof until they arrive, she turned to Chloe. Your role is key. You guide the guards in close combat. Chloe swallowed but nodded. She felt the weight of responsibility. She looked at Ilara's royal guard lined up behind her. They were brave men and women who believed in Ilara's cause. Let's end this, Chloe said. Elara smiled faintly and pressed a button on her communicator. Overhead roar of engines filled the air. Small fighters soared from the ship's hatch. They circled the plaza, ready to strike. On the rooftop, Ilara raised her blade to the sky. A wave of pale purple energy pulsed outward. A shimmering barrier formed around the building. The barrier sparkled like morning dew. Rebel projectiles struck it and fell harmlessly to the ground. Good, Ilara said. Chloe led the royal guard to the edge of the rooftop. She shouted commands in clear tones. The soldiers spread out, taking positions behind low walls and vents. Chloe's calm voice guided them. Watch the stairwell to the north. Liam leads that squad. The south wing, follow me. Soldiers nodded and took their places. Ilara stayed at the center, protecting them with her barrier. Below, rebels tried to climb. Fire escapes and ladders. Chloe fired her baton at a group clinging to a ladder. The electric shock sent them tumbling backward. Fall back? Their commander shouted. But the fighters had begun their dive. They swooped low and released small energy torpedoes. Each burst lit the plaza with bright blue light. Rebels scattered, shields melting under the blasts. Chloe took the chance. She leaped onto the ledge and joined the guards at the south end. She raised her baton and charged. Her feet pounded against concrete as she ran forward. A rebel soldier swung a club. Chloe ducked and jabbed the baton. It crackled and hit his arm, sending him to his knees. She grabbed his weapon and tossed it aside. A guard behind her kicked. Another soldier away. Good work. Chloe cheered. Elara single quotes S barrier shimmered as more rebels approached. The princess moved her blade in a circle. Energy arcs lanced out, knocking back attackers. Soldiers cheered and pressed forward. Suddenly, the rebel commander shouted and fired a grenade into the crowd. The grenade bounced off the barrier and exploded against the rooftop wall. Dust and debris filled the air. Chloe coughed and shielded her eyes. She heard a cry from a guard. She staggered through the dust and saw a wounded soldier on the ground. She rushed to his side. Hold on, she said, pressing the baton which emitted a healing pulse. The guard gasped and sat up, wounded, parts knitting together. Thank you, he whispered. Chloe smiled and helped him to his feet. Behind them, Ilara's barrier held strong. Above the plaza, fighters swooped again. They fired concentrated beams at rebel armor. One by one, the rebels dropped their weapons and fell to their knees. The rebel commander glared up at Ilara. He raised his rifle, but there was no ammo left. He dropped it and raised his hands. "We surrender," he said. Elara lowered her blade. She deactivated the barrier. Its glow faded into the morning light. Chloe and Alara's guard secured the commander and his men. Streets cleared as civilians emerged to see the end of fighting. Cheers rose from below. Elara climbed down from the rooftop. She joined Chloe at the edge. They looked over the plaza, now filled with grateful citizens and restored peace. "We did it," Chloe said. Elara turned to Chloe, her silver eye shining. She took Chloe's hand. "Oak Ridge is safe because of you," she said. "You have courage beyond humans I have known." Chloe shook her head. "We did this together." A small cheer went up from the guard. Captain Kara approached with a rolled banner, bearing the royal crest. "Princess, may I present the banner of victory," she said, unfurling it. Red and silver colors glowed in the dawn. Elara raised the banner. Soldiers cheered. Civilians below waved small flags. Chloe felt tears in her eyes. She hugged Elara. "Thank you," Elara whispered. Chloe smiled. "Wherever next, I will stand with you," Elara nodded. She looked to the sky, where the hidden ship prepared to depart. "I must return to Thesha to rebuild my kingdom," Elara said. Chloe single quotes as heart ached, but she nodded. "And I will help you. There is more work ahead." Elara embraced her friend. They held each other tightly. "Remember Oak Ridge," Elara said. "You always have a home here." Chloe looked out at the city she had saved. She smiled. "And you have a friend here," she said. They parted. Elara climbed aboard her ship. Chloe watched as fighters took off and the ship rose into the sky. It disappeared among the clouds. Chloe turned back to the city. The first rays of sun warmed her face. She took a deep breath. "It is a new day," she said. She began to walk down the steps into the plaza, ready for whatever came next.